back-to-back world majors, Chicago and New York City, just weeks apart. How do you train, recover, and stay healthy for both? Welcome to episode 283 on the Healthy Runner podcast, where we help you get stronger, run faster, and enjoy lifelong injury-free running. Today, I have the pleasure of having the incredible Rhonda Hunt back on the show. Rhonda is a run coach, personal trainer, fellow Lululemon ambassador, group fitness instructor, Hyrox coach, and certified in the physiology of menopause, and is such an incredible human and inspirational leader for women crushing their running goals beyond menopause. Welcome back to the show, Rhonda.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to get round two with you. So fun.
This is like Rhonda Duane 2.0, as you said in your email. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this too. And yeah, you've been like a busy bee since we last spoke, and we're going to get into all of that. But first, I would love to just like tease what we're going to be covering today. So guys, in this episode, you're going to learn how to safely train and modify your plan for back-to-back marathons with a 3-week window, age-specific strategies for runners over 40 when doubling up on fall marathons, recovery, nutrition, sleep hacks for masters runners, and key warning signs for overtraining and injury risk, as well as strength training modifications for multiple marathon prep, and real life lessons from a runner, Rhonda, who is tackling Chicago and New York City Marathon. This conversation is going to be perfect if you're a runner over 40 who wants to stay healthy, stay strong, and fast while chasing big marathon goals. Okay, Rhonda, catch us up. What are our 3 fun things that you've done since we last spoke back in episode 243, which I look back with 11 months ago now?
Yeah, almost a year. A little more now. Where did summer go? Since I last spoke with you, I PR'd my New York City Marathon. I can't even save that one for last. That one was a big one.
That's huge.
Because I really did change my training strategy from the first New York City Marathon. And my goal going back in was I wanted to enjoy it more. And I really did. I had such a great time. And I shaved off a ton of time off of my first New York City Marathon and became a Boston qualifier. So that's huge. I feel like I won the golden ticket. I mean, I
That's
always
amazing.
tell clients that, remind yourself, we're not going into the Olympics. Everybody gets a medal. We all win. But there was something really sweet about that. And I didn't even realize that I was a Boston qualifier. I actually had a friend of mine text me going, oh my God. I'm like, no, not me. And I looked, and there are some advantages to I was 54 at the time. It's a little bit easier to qualify, but it's still a big deal. Now I am looking forward to crushing some of those other marathons. I competed in 3 Hyrox, one with my husband, one with my sister. Yes, they still like me mostly. It came back around. And then I competed individually in New York City. So that was a ton of fun. And something that's kind of close to my heart is we spoke on menopause last time. I really did a deep dive, and I became certified in just menopause and the physiology of it and what's happening to your body, how to train while in post-menopause, and what technically those mean, and some of the symptoms, how to get around them, including diet, recovery, natural remedies, things like that. It was really cool. So I felt like that one was as much for me as on my clients. So I'm looking forward to this October really doing a fun event with Lululemon and talking more about that and keeping women going.
Oh, nice. Excellent. You'll have to definitely let me know when that event is. That is phenomenal. First off, congratulations on the PR. Like, New York City is such a difficult marathon course to begin with, but to get a PR, to qualify for Boston, and please don't downplay it that, you weren't running fast, or it's easier to, be able to qualify as you get older. Like, you're literally getting faster as you get older. So like the fact that you've been doing that speaks to your training, right? And speaks to your mindset, speaks to your physical, and everything that you do from like an exercise standpoint to kind of strengthen your body to tolerate the demands of running, even as you get older. So yeah, kudos to you. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you. That was really exciting.
Yeah, that is very, very exciting. And we recently connected at our local annual kind of Lululemon ambassador training, or workshop. And it's always so much fun to connect with you. And
Mhm.
you're such a ball of energy, and just so inspirational. And I just want to tell
Thank
you
you.
that the last time you were on the show, I got some really great feedback from our listeners, about running through menopause. So thank you for that episode. And I'm looking forward to this one in really helping our community really plan out and strategize a way that they can navigate the waters, for multiple marathons in a season. So you're going through this right now. And I guess the first question I have for
In
you
real
is
time.
like, yes, like what inspired you to sign up for both Chicago and New York City this year?
I was originally just going for Chicago, and
Okay.
I am training clients right now that are going to Chicago. We're actually going to be, I feel like we're in it together, which is really cool. Um, and then a little something happens, that email hits your inbox. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I let it sit there. Um, I was invited to run again, and I literally, these are the things that I lay awake in bed at night think about. I'm like, there are people all over the world that literally they are trying everything they can to get here, to get that ticket, and it's in my inbox, and I'm laying there thinking, well, you know, I just I decided I'm going to go for it. And over the next couple months, after I thought, what did I do? I thought, well, how am I going to do this? We obviously have to pick which one of these guys is going to be the main focus. Like, what is going to be my all out? Which one's going to, and
So the ticket you're talking about, just to be clear, was actually getting in registration for New York City
yes.
Marathon. So did you put in for the lottery or did you do like the 9+1?
It was, I didn't put in for the lottery. It was because I ran so many of the races during the year. And
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you, if because now I'm a Boston qualifier, I'm not sure even when that email hit my inbox. And basically, they just were like, you're in, baby. Send us your credit card information. Like, really? Because then, yeah, it was all of a sudden just right there. There's like one thing to think about. Well, let me just throw in for the lottery. It was right there. So that, I mean, like I said, I went in with the goal of enjoying the marathon, not putting so much pressure on myself. The first one was very hot. I saw a lot of runners go down. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I was nervous. And I just thought, wow, I want a do over. I really do. I want to just go in and have a good time and take all the advice that I didn't take, which is have fun, shut your music off, enjoy the surroundings, and just remember, like you only have your first marathon one time, whatever. So I really went in just with that goal, and it was luckily for me, it was a gorgeous day. um, I didn't turn on my music until I got in the quiets of Queens, and it was a distraction. I ended up shutting it off.
Oh, wow.
I ran, I just thought, I just listened to the people. You're running through Brooklyn, and you are on the biggest block party you've ever seen. It feels like you're running through Yankee Stadium during playoffs. Literally, the crowds are squeezing in. They've got the bells. There's bands. They've got church choirs. They're out there. I soaked it up, and the energy, I swear, just coming from the city, letting the nerves go, trusting the process, trusting my training, trusting my body. I literally was in Brooklyn. I called my husband. I was like, listen, he goes, are you okay? I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I just want listen to these people. They're going bananas. It was so great. So that by the time I got to the Queens, that bit of quiet was nice. So I regrouped, and then here we go through the Bronx, and it's like that momentum picks up again, and it pushes you through. And seeing people on the street that I know, that I've trained with, that I worked with, just like all of those extra hugs and high fives, it meant more. And when I finished, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. It was perfect. It was so much fun. I took off my sneakers and walked all the way to Grand Central with my husband. We were taking pictures in Times Square. And he's like, are you all right? And I'm like, I'm good. This is great. And just like, it just was such a great day. It really felt like I had been to a huge like party. It was
Right.
really cool. It felt special. And I took away so much more from that race than just the PR. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a magical day. And yeah, for someone who hasn't experienced New York City yet, I think you like painted that picture for them where, you know, it can be this raucous party in the streets, right? Where it
Yes.
is just you got like so much energy on the sidelines that's kind of cheering you on. And so it sounds like, okay, so this wasn't necessarily in the plan. The main plan was to really conquer Chicago. You know, you're training a bunch of, you know, athletes who are going to do the race with you. You were going to do this, you know, destination, conquer another major. You've already done New
Yes.
York City once before or twice before. But you got the golden ticket. So you get registration. So now it's like you're sitting here. Do I do it? Do I not do it? And you decided to kind of, yeah, okay. Let me give him my credit card.
Run it again. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Okay. Have you ever done multiple marathons in a season before?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no. I'm a big half girl. I love a half marathon. Honestly, I've been running, my whole entire adult life, and the half marathon is kind of my jam. Training for the marathon was like, it was actually just going to be, all right, I'm going to do it. It's like a bucket list thing. And then just the, as you know, anyone listening to this that has done a marathon, it changes your life. You're like, I just ran a freaking marathon. I'm a marathoner. Look at this medal. We want to go to work for a week wearing that medal.
Absolutely. You earned it.
Yes.
26.2 miles earned for sure.
Wow.
And so, how long have you been running marathons? Have you just done the two in New York?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
My first one was 2023.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah. So, you're still a newbie.
yes.
Okay. How about any experience with like close scheduled races? Like, have you run half marathons that were kind of close together
Yes,
before?
absolutely. Yeah, I've done that. And I like to compete in some of the local races, kind of get in there with my community. And there's some 10 miles in Scarsdale, things like that. And there's certain go-tos that I feel like my life is not complete if I don't do the New York City half, the Brooklyn half. I love the Bronx 10 mile. That is such a party. And maybe because you finish running downhill, all the way down the hill, it's pretty cool. And one of the most underrated half marathons is Staten Island. Now, I know it's far, but what a great run. And you get like a sneak peek of the bridge, and you got hot bagels at the end. It kind of gives me that old half marathon vibe where it's not as busy as some of the other ones. Some of these races are getting pretty busy, but lot of hills. If you can get through those races, like you're good to go on that New York City Marathon. Really,
Okay. All
close to
right.
that bridge. So I've done, probably like a month. So this one between Chicago and New York City is only 3 weeks. So this is going to be a big one for me. This is a big challenge. And
Yeah.
going in
Yeah.
Chicago as my main, and I'm kind of put it in my brain as my last long run before New York City. And coming back, my focus is really going to be on recovery, and it's going to be pretty much based on how I feel. Definitely just going to spend some time on my feet, but not right away. Just some shorter, like 3 mile easy runs, see how they land. No quality runs or anything like that for the first week. Just all about recovering and filling back up glycogen stores and making sure there's no little niggles in there, and working on stretching and all the band work, all that magic work. And then based on how I feel that week, I have another week where maybe I'm going to add some tempo runs in there, something that's more like,
Okay. Before we get into that recovery after Chicago, if you don't mind, I'm just curious from like a training structure standpoint. So you have Chicago, 3 weeks to New York. For context, I thought I was, running two events close together where I'm doing the Philadelphia Marathon, which is actually 7 weeks. Yeah, is 7 weeks apart from the Disney Marathon, which you're also doing that. And I'm going to get to see you in Disney for the Dopey
that's
Challenge. So I have like 7 weeks, which is pretty close, right? You got 3 weeks. So how will your training plan change knowing that you have two marathons just like 3 weeks apart? Like it sounds like Chicago is going to be your priority, your quote
yes,
unquote A race, right? The
yes.
one that you're really kind of running your hardest, trying to get. I'm sure you're probably going after a PR, right?
Well,
It,
let's hope.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
our
okay.
purpose. Even though we go in and say it's all, whatever happens, all of us runners are going in there. We all want the PR for sure.
So how about the training plan, like heading into Chicago? Like, will any of that change at all, knowing that you got New York like 3 weeks later, or will you do kind of like a standard marathon plan that you've done before?
Yes, standard. I'm training the same way now that I trained for New York City. I'm focusing on the same build, and then the recovery, the lighter weeks, the deloading weeks, load back up, same. And then it's really, I think what's going to be most important is going to be the recovery coming out of it, but still keeping time on my feet, or even if it's just a little bit of time without a quality run, like without those really hard pushes, just going in a little bit lighter. And I kind of program my runs, and with my clients as well, looking very closely at when their races are, how long they are, and leading them in with going tapering the race, and then slowly easing back in, but trying to keep that upward momentum with enough recovery. So they're still kind of using each one of these races as a peak of your training cycle before you reset, if that makes sense, before the deload, when you bring it back down. And usually then I pull away any of the the hill repeats and things like that, where you're really kicking butt, and just, as I said, time on your feet and feeling your body, and then working into more your tempos, picking up the pace, things like that. And so I'm going to approach Chicago as like a peak. It's going to be, of course, a lot higher. So my recovery on the other end is going to be, I'm not going to lift. I'm not going to run for a good several days after. And then when when you're ready, you get that little itch, and just like it's funny after marathon training, this feeling. What do I do with all this time now? What is, it's so strange because you spend so much time running. But, I'm hoping by the end of the week, that weekend, that I've had, maybe like an easy run towards the end of the week, and then building up a little bit, and it's really going to go by feel. And I'm not going to do anything that's really aggressive. I'm going to go on, let's see how this works. We'll have to have another chat. I'm going to work on time on my feet and just try to keep going, and then build up some distance. And
Now you're referring to after Chicago, correct?
Chicago.
Okay. Okay. All right. Got it. Yeah. And it sounds like you've said the word probably 4 times. I haven't been counting exactly. Already today in recovery. And it seems like you're really prioritizing recovery because you have these two, main events so close together. Like, what's different about recovery for runners over 40 than a runner in their 20s?
It just takes a lot longer. It does take a lot longer. And I think it's so important to listen to your body. You know, there are times when we lace up and you think, or you have your goal and you get out there and you hit the pavement, it's just not landing right. It's just not feeling good. And you got to know the days when, is this just hard, or is this just hard and this is my ego pushing through? Because that's when you're going to subject yourself to overtraining and possibly facing some repetitive injuries, things like that. You really got to stay in tune with your body and have those moments of, all right, am I just like, not bringing my A game today? Am I just like not in the mood because I'm kind of tired? Or is my body tired? And on those days, you got to learn like to pump the brakes, and it's okay. Give your body grace. And there's, you've got to be really careful about what you eat. Sometimes I know people love that party after the marathon or after the half marathons, these races, they go and, they have a big party down with their food. They want to have some drinks, things like that. But you got to be really careful about that, and also strategic about what you're putting into your body. And there's some supplements that I take that, like, I'm not going to miss my magnesium, my omegas, things like that, that are really important, things that I need to replace that just my body is tapping out on, and make sure that I'm eating healthy foods, anti-inflammatory foods, and keep all the junk out. Because as a runner, we have to fuel our runners. So we're taking gels, things like that along the way. You're drinking Gatorade, all the things you wouldn't have in your normal life. So I really like a probiotic for my gut health, because my stomach will take a thrashing, and I don't want to get into GERD because that's going to interrupt your sleep. So that, just paying attention to what's going in and what's not making you sleep well. If you drink alcohol, you're not going to sleep well. And I I have these conversations with my clients because it is all about your goals. What's more important? Having a beer with your buddy, if that makes your life better, then go for it. But if you're going to be happiest at a certain pace in your race, or when you step on the scale, what's it going to be? Because at our age, unfortunately, it can't be both. You got to find a delicate balance. Some got to go. And I alcohol definitely for me. Whew, that's rough. I have a hard time with alcohol now. I don't hardly drink anymore because it takes a lot out of me. So, and the gut. Don't skip the probiotics for sure.
I truly hope that you're getting value from this video, and I wanted to take a brief moment to share with you one of my most recommended naturally sourced food supplements for runners that supercharges your recovery from running. And that is the power of Blackcurrant, which is a berry, by the way, just like blueberries, but they have the highest level of anthocyanins, which is a strong antioxidant of any berry. And CurraNz has a product that's conveniently packs these super berries into a capsule. As I frequently say, recovery is a part of the training, and you can only run as fast or as long as you can recover from that run in order to stay healthy for longevity. CurraNz is taken as a pre-workout supplement, and it's going to help improve your recovery times and reduce the effects of fatigue or muscle soreness after a hard run or strength session. There are over 50 studies investigating the effects of these superberries, and CurraNz has been studied to improve blood flow by up to 45%, which removes metabolites from our muscles, reduces oxidative stress. In fact, a recent British study actually showed that CurraNz helped accelerate recovery of muscle function 3 times faster than placebo. And soreness in the active group reduced up to 49%. Tissue damage was reduced by 84%, which is attributed to the improvement in blood flow that was seen, as well as blackcurrant's anthocyanins' inherent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. You can learn more about the real science behind blackcurrant extract with my interview with Fleur Cushman in the video that I have for you linked in the description if you want to learn more and get into some of the science. And having a supplement that is backed by science is important to me. And it's what I look at when I put anything in my body, and is the reason why I've been using CurraNz for the last 2 years, because I was looking for a supplement to help maximize my recovery from hard marathon training so I could stay healthy during the training. And now that you're a part of our Healthy Runner community, you can get 20% off your first order using the link that I have for you in the description. You can go to CurraNzUSA.com. Just use the code HealthyRunner during checkout when placing your order. Go ahead and give CurraNz a try to help you recover from those runs. Trust me, you won't regret it. Yeah, same. I couldn't agree more on all of those points, actually. And what I love about your mindset and approach here is you're not looking at this like, hey, I gotta get like the best training plan hack that is gonna like allow me to peak for Chicago and then like be able to do New York. And you're not even talking about like the X's and O's, so to speak, of like training and run planning. But I could see really how you're approaching this is like the recovery is so important. And like just mentioning your supplementation and all of those supplements that you recommend, I also take, and I totally agree with you on, as well as, you know, avoiding alcohol and, you know, making sure that we're actually refueling our body, rehydrating our bodies, not only so we can perform, but so we can recover better after our training, after the marathon effort that's going to be a hard marathon effort in Chicago. And if you do all those things consistently, because we know consistency matters, then your body is going to be in the optimal environment to turn around in 3 weeks and be able to run 26.2 again. So I love how you're thinking about this from like a big picture, holistic standpoint of like, if you're listening to this and you're in a similar situation, is I want you to take this approach like Rhonda's taking and seeing like, how can you put your body in the best environment? Because all of these things that she's doing is, yes, like, can we, you know, 100% prevent injuries? No, right? But we can take necessary steps that we do have control over. And these are the things that Rhonda has control over that's going to provide this optimal environment. So her IT band or her Achilles tendon doesn't wind up getting flared up, you know, from, you know, the hard training that she's going to be doing in the future. And I think that you highlighted that really well on how recovery is so important for us masters runners over the age of 40. Like we say on our team, like recovery is a part of the training. And I just love how, you know, your approach is including that in the training. So if you don't mind, I'm just kind of curious here, with 2 marathon training cycles under your belt, kind of going for Chicago, is there anything that you're planning on doing differently that you've done in the past from a X's and O's standpoint? So like speed work wise? Are you planning on doing more speed work, the same? Are you planning on building out like weekly mileage a little more, or are you planning on doing an extra longer long run? Like, is any of that changing for you?
I think I'm using a lot of the same training methods that I used for the PR in New York City because it worked so well. I think my biggest switches that I did was my slow runs were not slow enough my first marathon. Slow down. And it's
Oh,
like to slow down. And I think runners are always trying to get faster and we always, you know, push, 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 push. But there really is a time to trust the process and your trainer. Slow down. And also on the flip side, that's gonna give you the gas to gun it on those quality runs when you're doing the interval runs and to really mix them up. Like some days are gonna be longer, some days are gonna be shorter. And then like right now I have added in an extra, like just a light run. So I'm getting more time on my feet. So it's it really, I was stubborn. I'm not gonna lie, and I bet a lot of runners are that first year, especially going from a marathon runner to training for a or half marathon, excuse me, to a full marathon. Like you really need to pump the brakes on those long runs and hit that zone two. Trust in the process that you're just working out in a different way, and it really changed my endurance. And also I think that running slower helps you really focus on your form and settle in. It's podcast time. Listening listening to a book. Like I listen to a lot of your podcasts. I love it. And just being able to find the rhythms and sure pick it up to your marathon pace in there and just feel the runs, feel your body. And then when it's time to do those more quality sessions, just go at it and know, no, this is going to be really hard. My heart rate's going to be up here. And so those were the two big switches. The only thing that I'm changing now is just a little bit more time on my feet because those long runs were so beneficial. And I want to see what happens if I put an extra 3 miles, 4 miles in there a week. That's just an easy run, like an easy run. And I'm stepping up with my strength training like I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to you. Like runners that um, that weight train, that lift heavy, especially with legs, and do plyometric work. Their endurance is so much better. They just have they resist fatigue better, and it just keeps you from getting hurt. You still got to get the bands out. It's another thing. It's just like, doing all of the clamshells and things like that I'm sure you hear your clients come and my hip is hurting. Have you been walking with the bands? Have you been, and it usually comes back to the strength training. And I know that time becomes an issue. What's that saying? That training for a marathon isn't hard. It's just having to do all that other crap before you're training for the marathon that's hard. It is tough, but it will pay its dividends at the end.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I love how, I guess, first take home message that I heard from you is like slowing down those easy runs, super important. And it is so good to hear from people like you who notice such a difference. Like once you made that switch from like your first marathon to your second marathon, that you noticed a performance benefit.
And it
So
feels
like,
good. It's
again,
more fun. You're not as like, oh God, here we go again. It's more enjoyable. It's a better process.
yes, yes, those runs are more enjoyable. And I like to think of it as like for those that are running their easy runs too fast, yes, you can do it. And that's what the pushback that I get from so many runners is like, well, it felt okay. I can do it. Yes, you can. But like every run that you do, like that. Let's say you're doing a 5-day plan. Let's just say you're doing all easy runs, right? That's like micro trauma. It's like 1%, 2% micro trauma that accumulates, builds on
Yes.
all 4 or 5 of those runs that week over the course of your 16, 20 week training cycle. It's like this micro trauma that builds, builds, builds. And
Yeah.
then boom, when you get to your peak of your training, your IT van's going to like scream at you because it's been getting this like graded micro trauma building up, building up, building up. And then
Yes.
eventually your tissue is going to be like, screw you. Like, hey, I'm going to give you some sharp pain on the outside of your knee and I'm going to take you down and you're not going to be able to run this marathon confidently. Right. So it keeps us healthy because
Yes.
it allows us to actually optimize what you said before, recovery in between our sessions. And it's one of those like small little things. It's not like rocket science. It's not like any cool tech. It's not like new training, methodologies. It's like something so simple, but so many people struggle with actually executing it. So I
Yes.
love that you've seen that benefit from a
I'm gonna
performance
scream it. I
standpoint.
do. Slow down and you avoid fatigue and burnout and keep you obviously enjoy running because here we are. We're training for a marathon. Like I want you to enjoy the process. And speaking of the whole recovery thing, if you're just constantly hammering at that body. We're going into the fall now. Kids are going back to school. People are going to start hitting the decks. They're all going to get sick. And of course, that happens. Life happens. We have a training plan. It's just a plan. And at some point, something's going to feel weird. We got to push pull here and there. People will get sick, but you can really reduce your chances of getting sick if you're not constantly just pushing everything to the limit and just um, trusting those easy runs. Who knew that getting people to slow down would be the hardest part of training? But I did it to myself too, and I'm telling you what I think I like took off over 17 minutes in my marathon by running slower. Like I don't think that was an accident. That was literally 2023 and 2024 just by slowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
I had more gas to hit it harder to be like, wow, that was kind of fun. Look at, you enjoy it. And sometimes you got to throw Strava in the garbage, tell Garmin, I don't care. Is it, we all want to post and brag about our runs, whatever, but there is something really impressive about marathon training. A long run, I don't care. 17, 18, 20 miles, that's a long run. That's impressive. It doesn't have to be fast.
Absolutely. And you mentioned strength training before and really how beneficial it's been. I know you're a Hyrox coach and you've done 3 of the events. I feel like Hyrox is this thing that's just like come onto the scene where it's just like, it seems like a lot of people are doing it. It's become super popular. So if someone who hasn't heard about it yet, can you just describe what Hyrox is? And then I'm curious to see how cross training or strength training with Hyrox is going to play into your marathon training cycle.
Yes. If I've been a hybrid athlete for a while. That a hybrid athlete is a runner that lifts. I'm a trainer at Barry's Boot Camp. I've been going to Barry's since they opened in Chelsea a million years ago. And so I kind of like to joke that we've been hybrid before there was a hybrid. Um, it is such a challenge. It's taking all the things that an athlete loves, the running with all of our functional training. So at Hyrox, you have all these 1 kilometer runs. You run out, you got a certain number of laps depending on how big the arena is, followed by a workout station. There are ski ergs and there's rowers in there. We got burpee broad jumps. Those are fun, especially if it's been raining. That's nice and slippery. We got there's walking lunges. Wall balls are like infamous. That's the one everyone loves, the wall balls. But really is just it's an endurance event. So a lot of people spend a lot of time strength training for, kettlebell carries and all these great things that are grip strength and things like that. But I can tell you right now that runners have a great advantage over someone, let's say, who's just done CrossFit. And while I was training athletes for a Hyrox, it's like, run, run. I said the program, run. Did you run? Did you run? Run, 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 run. The most successful athletes were the ones that ran. It really is endurance. So,
How long is like the event or average time or something does it take someone to finish like a
it's about
Hyrox?
an hour and a half.
Oh
Somewhere.
wow.
Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
is an endurance event. Wait, and you're going the whole time for an
Yes,
hour
they're
and a
going the
half?
whole time. The
Okay.
pros, they're all trying to sub 60. That's what their thing is. They want to get under that 60-minute mark. And the uh there you can run these with a partner. So you can switch back and forth. But guess what? You both gotta run, and you gotta run within arm's distance of each other. So run, 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 run. Keep running. You should be able to comfortably run 5 miles before you enter a Hyrox competition. Otherwise, yeah, it's tough. And people go in hot because they psych you up at that
I'm sure.
starting line. They're playing AC/DC. You're closing your eyes and you're like, we're here. There, you can just feel the energy. And they shove you out the gate and everyone goes, Pachoo! And I'm like, bye. I'll see you in a second. Because they're going so hot. They're all running like 7-minute miles and they're not runners. And then by the time we get to ski ergs, they're like, you know, so it's like really learning how to pace yourself, learning, going in with a plan. It's really great training. It's really, really good training, like wall balls, things like that. The walking lunges. It's the training just to become a Hyrox coach was actually one of the best trainings that I've done. It was incredible. I loved it. It was really cool. Um, they're it's a worldwide organization. So when they had a coach to talk about rowing, it was like the best rower, just the physiology, the nutrition, and then of course my favorite part was the running. I just was like, wow, it was so great. I must confess though, my last Hyrox, I was under fueled and overtrained. That day, I was scheduled to compete at 3 o'clock, but my husband was going individually at 7 a.m. And I had a lot of my friends, clients going during the day in New York City. So I got up like I would for a regular race, peanut butter and jelly, like the whole thing. Pack up my lunch and head down. And it was a lot of fun. But the energy level so high, and I'm running around station to station. I'm cheering, I'm videoing, I'm stepping. My phone died because I'd taken so much footage of the event. I had almost 15,000 steps before I even competed. I ate all my food, all my fruit, and the only food that they had there were 2 food trucks serving like chicken nuggets and french fries. I'm like, if I eat that, I'm going to have a problem. So I I ate what I had left, prayed, and bonked. I got really tired, and it was hot as heck. It was so hot and humid. It stormed the night before. Oh, it was scorching. It's outside on the pier of New York City. So, uh, talk about overtraining. I was nervous about doing the event by myself. So I was training really hard and it was too much. I wasn't listening. I think I was just really nervous because I had athletes I had trained there, and I wanted to show up, and I just went in there, spent so much energy before the event. And then when it came time for Rhonda, there wasn't a lot left. So I'm like,
Lesson learned.
let me try this again. Does it sound familiar? It sounds like the first
Yeah.
one, right? So I got to try this again. I'm going to go to Dallas at the end of November and give it another shot. My husband and I are going to go out and I'm going to try that again. But I have it set up. I'm signed up for the first day. My husband's going the second day so we can focus on Rhonda's going to do her thing today. John's going to do his thing the next day. That way, I'm still going to be there and cheer everyone on, have fun, all of those things. But this time I'm going to go in a little more focused and a lot smarter.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you. And I've had that happen to me before at local road races where we have a lot of athletes running, and it's really hard to split yourself and try to be that supportive coach and be there for the community, but then
Yes.
also expect that you're going to get your best performance out. It's really hard to do both of those. So yeah, I strategically like to have like local events where, hey, I'm going to show up, I'm going to be the cheerleader, I'm going to be the coach, and then there's race events where I'm going to race, and I'm actually doing a 5K this upcoming Monday where, yeah, I haven't told anyone about. Like, I'm going to literally show up there. I'm going to see people that I know there, but I'm going there to like race and test my fitness,
Good.
right? And
Fun.
just like that's the goal of the day, as opposed to showing up somewhere where I'm like, okay, I'm going to a local road race and I'm going to be there to really support others and or have fun or run it for fun. You
Yes.
have to honestly, yeah, be able to split those. So with the Hyrox event in November, which yeah, this is going to be while you're training for Chicago. So how do you plan on like balancing that? Like, what role? How many times a week do you plan on strength training during the Chicago build?
I definitely minimum of 3 days a week, and it will be um, broken up into different sections. I like to focus on different pushes, pulls, and not try to do it all at once. Again, it's all about trying to work out smart, not just hard, because working out just hard, marathon one and Hyrox solo one, there's just you got to be a little bit smarter. So I'm definitely going to approach it differently. And when I come back, I'm going to start actually strength training during tapering a little bit more because it does get hard to fit all of it in. But as I get closer to Chicago and the mileage starts to taper off, I'm going to actually be able to start lifting a little bit more, pulling and pushing and things like that a little bit more, and start then, and then just see how that takes me through. And after um, November, the marathon, then I'm really going to get into like some of the heavier lifts and training and things like that. But it's always, I'm never not in training. Definitely lifting just has become such a part of my life that I don't know who I am without it. I don't feel good without it. And it helps with my energy, my stress. I sleep better, all of those things. I'm constantly worried about the amount of running that I'm doing and maintaining my muscle mass. So I'm really fueling each one of my workouts, having protein, carbohydrates before I work out, and then again after, a ton of protein after, a lot of carbohydrates to restore the glycogen stores, all of that. So just learning how to piggyback when you fuel and when you're running, that's when you should be loading up on those calories. And that way you're not, I hear a lot of runners, I'm so hungry all the time, I just want to eat all the time. You're probably not eating when you should. You shouldn't feel that hungry all the time. And if you are, you might be, number one, you might be dehydrated. You should start with that first. Make sure, I know that a lot of people know to use your electrolytes, something with salt in it during those longer runs, but you still need a little bit after. You need a little bit after. And still just having, that whole mindset, the concept of you're fueling your body and you're building an outcome with your training, with your sleep, with what you eat. It's all, according to your priorities, as you know, is we do have to live a little. You don't want to be the drag who's not going out and enjoying themselves at events and with your family and having ice cream with the kids and all that, of course. And there's room for that, especially with the amount of miles that we're putting in, but just making sure that most of what goes in is good stuff, so you don't feel that constant I'm hungry all the time. And sometimes that's one of the first signs that I see in training, is if somebody's always hungry, always tired, then looking at nutrition and how are you recovering, because they might be right on that burnout phase where they're like overtraining. How's everything feeling? Because, or you become over emotional and sensitive and you start snapping at people. Might be time. Let's revisit this plan. This is where I'm sure you can appreciate this. Where or who's your trainer? Who are you training with? Where did you get your running plan? Oh, I got it from ChatGPT. I'm like, wow. Are they going to help you out when you're like yelling at your husband and crying because you spilled milk? Because this will happen. And I'm sure you know very well, there is a point in training when somebody's going to cry or be really scared. I don't know if I can do this. This is really hard. Or they get injured or not feeling well. And that's where I think it's really important to have someone, a resource like you, me, that you can go to who has experience personally and professionally to say, well, let's take a look at some of these things. It sounds like you need some more rest. Let's look at your program. What can we change? What can give? And just as you said, the older we get, the bigger it is. It's not just calories in, calories out, go balls to the wall all the time. You really got to be strategic and smart. Give your body grace and be proud. This stuff is really hard. Like this is a big deal. And just getting it done. And I see all of your medals on the back wall there. Like it never gets old. And I want to keep doing this for a long time. So, we're not going to be, or I'm not going to be chasing PRs for forever. When I go to New York City, my goal, I'm going to have fun. I did Chicago. That one, I'm going back for the party. I mean, it's New York City. Same Hyrox. I'm going to train hard for Hyrox. I want to do better than I did the first time. But then when I go to Disney, that's going to be playtime for sure. I'm going to be hugging all the characters and taking a lot of pictures and just having fun. I've been trying for years to do it. So I'm a big Disney fan. I love Disney.
Oh, we do too.
Oh my gosh. So just being there, I'm just going to have a good time with that one and try not to stress out about it. Just, who can't hug Donald Duck? I got to stop. I got to give high fives and get a picture. That's what it's all about. I think it'll be fun. Just bucket list stuff, just the experience. And sometimes that's bigger than PRs. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, we gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy it, enjoy the process, and yeah, I think highlighting the importance of strength training in order to run was great. And I would just caution any of our listeners, like Rhonda has been strength training for decades, right? So she has this foundation built up, and I like to think, myself as well, like I've been strength training for over 20 years consistently, right? Or 25 years now, consistently, where it's a little different for like you and I versus if you're listening to this and you are running Chicago and New York, and you don't have 25 years of strength training under your belt, I would not recommend you do 3 days of strength training during your marathon build when you're running 2 marathons. But just giving you an idea of what Rhonda's looking at from her fitness perspective, her background, because 3 days of strength training isn't as rigorous on her body versus if you're fairly new to strength training. 2 days is usually what I would recommend for someone in like a active marathon training build. During your
Yes.
base training phase, when you're not marathon training, then yes, double down on 3 days of strength, because that's going to be beneficial for you the
Yes.
next training cycle. But just wanted to kind of highlight that just in case someone was listening to this and didn't
Absolutely.
have your fitness background. But I like
And
that you are also, and then your other point you had mentioned was during the taper, you're going to actually increase strength. And again, I would caution those that don't have your strength background in doing that. If someone doesn't have a strength background, that actually might increase your risk profile for like getting an injury during your
yeah,
taper. So again, I would, continue to taper everything down during that. But your situation is unique because you
it's
also have
different.
the Hyrox competition in November.
Right.
So you're kind of training for that as well. Like you want to do well, have this kind of redemption from that last episode where you couldn't actually prioritize Rhonda and actually performing to the level that you want to perform. So I just want to highlight those. If you are doing the two, marathons back to back, I would probably say keep your strength training in the mix because you still want to activate those run specific muscles. You still want to actually be using your muscles, but we usually typically would taper that down with your mileage. And sometimes I go down to like
Yes.
1 day a week of strength. And then
Yep.
usually the week of the race, for my athletes,
No
you've built
strength.
up the
Yeah,
strength, right? Like let's
exactly.
allow your body to feel fresh. So it's like
Exactly.
ready to go for race day.
Yep.
You're like, your muscles want to actually like fire out. And then you have to hold back mentally and be like, don't go out too hot.
Yes,
But like your body is ready for that challenge of 26.2
exactly.
um,
Exactly. Yeah,
miles.
and that's how I am approaching these runs too. Like, when is the event? The most important thing is backing that week out, just like you said, where there's, you know, just some light runs, no lifting. And also, piggybacking what you said, my lifting sessions, I don't go lift for an hour. A lot of my lifts are 20 minutes, 30 minutes done because I am breaking it down into different body parts. And that's when if you even running 2 marathons, I don't recommend it to anyone, not if you're new. This is something that, as I said, my second one, I'm going to go for fun. It's going to place a load of stress on my body. I'm a fitness professional, and besides training for marathons and the half marathons, I am physically active all day. I'm a trainer, I'm on my feet. So the amount of hours I spend on my feet, pretty much I'm in training all day long. So my situation is a lot different than somebody who might work at a desk, who's never strength trained before. And kind of that's what I hinted to when I was talking about ChatGPT for coming up with training programs. You really need to tap into some good resources and get help when you need help, with whether you need to talk to somebody who is in nutrition that specializes in nutrition for athletes. If you're having trouble with stress or sleeping, things like that, there are a lot of resources out there. And luckily, I've been on the planet for a while, and I'm surrounded by a lot of hugely talented trainers and professionals like you that, I'm able to say, hey, what do you think about this? How does that look? What's your experience? How would you do this? I still do that, and I've been around for a while, so it's not something that you should just jump into. And I'm super excited about coming out of being a qualifier, and I'm able to now like hit some of those bucket lists, like I said at the beginning, that golden ticket. And yes, Chicago's my goal, but I really want to enjoy these miles and the moments and the crowds and the signs and that crappy apple that is so beat up at the end and the little bag of pretzels. Like, that's the best breakfast in the world. There's
Yeah, so
nothing more
I want
gratifying.
to turn this around to you because I'm curious to hear how will you prioritize nutrition and sleep during this like intense period as you're peaking for Chicago, as you're recovering from Chicago, and then building back up for New York. Like, how are you going to prioritize nutrition and sleep?
Sleep is going to come definitely first. Like I'm going to be shutting it down at 9 o'clock at night. And it's really hard because, as you said, I am a high energy person. Um, I have a stack of books by my bed, and there is nothing like just getting into bed with a book just to help you shut down during the day, slow your brain down. Don't go to bed with your phone. I mean, we all use it as an alarm. Turn it over, put it on, do not disturb, shut the phone, shut the screen time down. And with nutrition, I'm really going to focus on good, healthy proteins, the fish and all of those things, fruits, vegetables, really a lot of the anti-inflammatory things, get all those phytochemicals in the body. And I love turmeric. That's something that I supplement with every day to help with inflammation, staying hydrated, and you know, just taking those cues from my body. When it's time to give more, give more. If it's not there, it's not there. It's, none of this is going to happen if I push past what my capabilities are. And sometimes you just got to let that ego go, or the plan, because we get very, runners are like, this is my route, this is my time. But this is says, you got to know when to let go, when it's just not landing. Same thing, with all, I'm going to probably take some extra days off of work so that I'm not, even then, because that's time on my feet and training. And as you said, when you're racing, even if you're not racing, you're there just cheering people on. As I'm coaching, I spend a lot of energy. So now I know there, as I get closer, there's going to be days where even though I'm just teaching and I'm not doing the class, I'm still going to take off so that I'm getting adequate rest and setting a good example, hopefully for everyone that I'm training, that they should also take those cues and take that time to recover and pull back when it's time to pull back.
Yeah, and you owe it to yourself, and it is so important, and it's one of those things that's so hard for us to do. But I love that you just mentioned the sleep is going to be most important because that's like the best thing that we can do. It's free, it is going to go far more beneficial for your body for recovery and being able to get this quick turnaround. But I'm also curious about like the mental preparation and. How do you recommend like mentally preparing for like two huge races so close together?
Well, I actually have to not think about it too far in advance so that I don't get overwhelmed. When I start getting the emails like with the countdown, I can feel my anxiety come up. I'm just right now, it's like stick to the plan. And I'm excited about going to Chicago. I haven't been there in decades. So, like, when I'm nervous, I think about I'm going to be in the park. I'm going to go see the bean. I'm going to be in Chicago and I haven't seen it. Like, things to kind of counter my anxiety. And I travel my plan or plan my travel way in advance so I don't have to think about it. Rooms booked, planes booked since forever. So I don't have to think about it. I've requested the days off of work, and everybody in the house, they know I'm going. And just getting those things done so that it's not such a rush as you get closer and you're tired and exhausted, and that fatigue sets in and everything's a little more annoying because you're tired. So getting logistically set early, and then find little things like asking, where should I go? I have a 5K the day before, but where's a fun place the night before to go have dinner or something like that. Just think about remembering why I want to do these things, keeping it fun and be excited and try to keep the pressure off, because we're all going to get a medal. We're all going to get a medal. So try to keep the pressure off and trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Oh, so good, so good. And if you are listening to this and you're ready to actually train smarter, not just harder, you can download our free marathon training guide designed specifically for runners over 40 who want to stay injury free. It's packed with the exact strategies that I use with the runners I coach as a running physical therapist, and it's 100% free. Just head to learn.sparkhealthyrunner.com/marathon or click the link that I have for you in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you've got value, like hit that like button so I can continue creating impactful interviews like this one with Rhonda that's going to help you get stronger, run faster, and enjoy lifelong injury-free running. So now I want to know, like, what's your biggest concern about running multiple marathons in one season? And I'm talking to you, who's watching this, right? So drop it in the comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, because I would love to know. And I do read all of my comments. And Rhonda, just to like finish up, any key takeaways you'd like to share for our healthy runners who are looking to double up on marathons?
Well, we've said it a lot together, and I think we're in complete alignment. It's recovery, prioritizing recovery, sleep, and listening to your body. Take those cues from your body. You kind of know when you're overdoing it, and let go of the ego. Give yourself the grace to recover. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eat well, and just trust the process. Trust your body. Trust that you're doing enough, as it is enough.
So powerful. And yeah, Rhonda, this has been such a great conversation. I know it is going to help someone who is training for multiple marathons. Where is the best place for our healthy runner community to connect with you and follow your amazing training journey post-menopause in all this that you're crushing as a runner?
Well, I think that a lot of us meet on Instagram these days. I'm Rhonda Hunt Fitness. You can always hit me up there. I love connecting with new people, sharing experiences, and knowing, like, if I've struck a chord, so I know I'm reaching someone. Because as a trainer, I'm sure you can appreciate that. That's what we're here for. That's our passion, and being able to help others in some way along their journey and just share those experiences is so great.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And I will certainly link all of your handles in the show notes. It's always such a treat to connect with you. So I appreciate you. I know you are going to crush Chicago and most importantly, stay healthy heading into New York. And then I'll be looking forward to celebrating with you in Disney,
Yeah, I can't wait.
having a party, doing the Dopey Challenge. And guys, if you want to hear more from Rhonda and learn more about running through menopause, then check out my previous conversation with Rhonda in episode 243 on the Healthy Runner podcast. This training was all about how to train for Chicago and New York City Marathon without getting injured. Now learn how to level up your strength training during marathon training by queuing up episode 273 on the Healthy Runner podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just click the video I have for you next so you can get stronger and feel confident to run your best race yet with these 3 tips. Now, let's continue to grow a strong mind, a strong body, and let's just keep on running, friends. Until next time.